edition of our Stage Ready series, and I don't even know how many weeks out I am anymore, but we'll get into that in a second. So if this is your first time stopping by, I'm Coach Gaglione. I'm the owner of Gaglione Strength. I've been as heavy as 340 pounds. I'm currently about 205 this morning. I did have an all-time low weigh-in of, I think, 202.8 this week, so I was very happy about that. It was a challenging week. This was like the first week I felt my energy levels were really low, and I'm going to discuss that in a bit, but I actually missed, I got kind of pinned on the bottom of a belt squat. Not fun, but I'm going to talk about that. So I think I got a little bit overzealous and a little overexcited, but at the start of this week, I was, less than 4 weeks out from my original, my third contest date. So for a little context, the original show date was May 30th. That got pushed back to June 27th. That got canceled, and then August 1st was the target. And I got no news early Monday morning that show date was canceled as well. So I'm trying for a fourth time. I'm going to aim for August 15th as the final show date because I really can't compete any later than that, just because of the simple fact I do plan on doing a powerlifting meet in December. So I'm really, really hoping, so hopefully you guys send some prayers for me and cross your fingers alongside with me, and that this show happens. I don't even want to think about if that's going to get canceled, but regardless, I will continue to diet through then. I'm going to have to extend the diet another 2 weeks. So I believe at the time of this recording, when you guys end up listening to this, we'll end up being about a little bit around 5 weeks out or so. So it was a little bit of a crazy week. I did start to transition to more quote-unquote traditional kind of cutting, dieting foods. Added in some whitefish to the diet. I've been kind of adding in more egg whites as well. So I was cutting out some red meat. I was cutting out some fats from the diet. I kind of took out all the egg yolks. And I think that might have been a mistake. I was also cutting down on some sodium. I was kind of just doing things a little bit haphazardly. I was getting a little bit anxious with the show coming up, and I think I started cutting out too many kind of nutrient-dense foods too soon. And I just really bonked. Like I said, I crashed hard. I missed, I just didn't really feel like I had the second gear to kind of push into. So even with the lower carbs, this was not good. I felt like I was really feeling unmotivated. I didn't really want to work. I was not in a great mood. I just felt even kind of depressed and anxious. It was just not good. So one of the things that was kind of good, and I got a little bit of a wake-up call, I think I, again, went a little bit overboard, and I probably, my fats and stuff were lower than even prescribed from my coach, Sean Cody. I haven't really seen the scale move. If you again followed me for the last, couple of months, I've just been kind of fluctuating between that 205, 210 range, and I do feel like my body is changing, and I may be due to get on an in-body reading, and I may need to get some more data. Might be good to take some waist measurements as well, because I do feel like I'm looking better in the mirror, but the scales just hasn't been moving, and I was just trying to get under 200 pounds, and maybe I should just not focus on the scale number as much and just let my kind of, coach, Sean, just kind of interpret that data and not worry about it as much, because I feel like that kind of made me to make some stupid decisions, some decisions that I would not really recommend for some people. That being said, I don't think egg whites are evil. I don't think whitefish is evil, but I sacrificed some micronutrition there. Like, I wasn't getting the biotin from the egg yolks. I wasn't getting probably enough, zinc and magnesium and stuff from the red meat, the creatine, and that sort of thing. So I was probably missing some things. And then, of course, I just, for whatever reason, I just felt like maybe cutting down salt would help me look better. But it just really affected my performance. So I'm going to start to add in more sodium back in. I'm going to start to add in more potassium. I'm going to start to pay a little bit more attention to my micronutrients, kind of add a little bit more red meat back in, and add some egg yolks back in, as well as some other foods, which kind of leads me to the next thing. And one of the reasons why I'm talking about all these micronutrient-rich foods is I was able to connect with Stan Efferding at Mount Vernon Barbell. He's on his vertical tour right now. And for those that don't know, I met Stan about 6 years ago. And he actually did a seminar with us. And the funny story behind that, So we have a mutual friend in Mark Bell. Mark Bell gave Stan my number, and I remember getting a voicemail and a text from Stan, and I was a little bit starstruck at the time. It was pretty cool. But anyways, Stan ended up doing a seminar at our gym. We've since then had some great events with Stan. We had like a squat battle with myself, Larry, and Stan. I did not partake in the squat for reps because I was very chubby at the time, but I did hit 750 squat and reps in that particular day. And the first time I actually met Stan Efferding was also the same day I met Larry Williams, which obviously, ended up being really well. So for those that are not familiar, I've been coaching Larry Williams on and off for the last 6 years, and Larry's went on to break world records in 3 different weight classes. He first broke the world record in the 242 class. Andrew Herbert took that record right away. Larry rebroke that record. At the time was Reebok record breakers, later to be Slingshot record breakers. And since then, I think Kevin Oak and Jamal have chipped the record. And Larry is also still the current 275 and 308 world record holder. The 275 was actually Stan Efferding's old record. And Larry, we recently went to the Arnold this past March, and Larry broke Eric Lillibridge's 308 record, which is a very outstanding, long time record we were working towards a long time. So Larry's one of the only people to hold world records in multiple weight classes at the same time, and one of the few that has held world records in 3 weight classes, which is an amazing feat. So I'm very, very proud to work with him. So that day that I met Stan was actually the first and only time I've successfully deadlifted 700 pounds. So that was a very big day for me. That was actually when I was at my strongest. I was weighing in like around 290-ish or so. And I remember Larry ended up pulling 700 for a triple at 19 years old. And then Stan had to show him up and do a set of 4. We did 1 more than him. And then later on, Stan proved to be a good mentor to us both. He helped us out a lot with diet, nutrition stuff over the years, and performance and tips and tricks over the years. So he's helped us a lot. He's, kind of brought the sodium and the noon tab to our attentions and things like that, and a lot of the kind of game day nutrition, driving in the carbs, driving in the salt, staying hydrated, fixing our sleep and things like that. So it was just kind of good to kind of chat with him and just kind of talk about maybe adding some of those foods in and still trying to be a little bit more mindful of calories. Because one of the things we want to preach is always we never want to sacrifice health. And I think I just kind of started to sacrifice my health a little bit too early, especially with the show date getting pushed back. So I'm going to start to implement a little bit more vertical-ish foods, if you will, back in the program. So, so kind of, and then, Stan's also a big proponent of kind of separating the hypertrophy and the strength training blocks. And that's something I think I'm going to also be kind of implementing more in the future. So we'll see how that works out. I'm kind of excited to see how I feel over the next couple of days. I'm excited to see how I feel over the next week or so and see if I can kind of continue to make progress while keeping some of those micronutrient-dense foods kind of back in. So maybe kind of adding in some, some carrots, some spinach, some fruit on the high day, a potato on my high-carb day, and things like that. So I'm going to see if that helps. I'm going to, obviously make sure I'm getting some iodized salt and things like that. So there's a lot of great things. But that was kind of very eye-opening for me. As far as the training and that sort of thing, I just think I was definitely a little bit down. I was a little bit down with the show getting canceled. It's just been a lot. This is the 3rd time it was canceled. It's been the 3rd time the date's been moved. And I've been dieting pretty hard since January. It's just tough. But I feel like I'm in too deep, and I feel like if I quit now, I wouldn't be setting a good example for you all that are listening, and just for my team in general. We always want to lead from the front, by example. So that's super important to me, that I finish what I started. I think it's a good lesson learned. And one of the posts I actually made on Instagram recently, about 8 years ago, we did our first meet as an actual team, as a company. So I was about a year into business. It's actually going to be our 9-year anniversary, and did kind of our first meet as an official kind of powerlifting team. We had our team singlets and everything, which was really cool. And I remember that was also my first meet back after dislocating my shoulder. And what's really special about that moment was all these doctors said I would never bench again. And with the help of my good friend and colleague, Dr. Albury, he helped rehab my shoulder. He was the only physical therapist and the only doctor that gave me hope And I was able to bench 525 pounds, and I even had the top bench at the meet. I won some money. And if I had listened to all those doctors, and if I had just quit then, I wouldn't even be talking to you right now. I wouldn't be involved with powerlifting. I probably wouldn't have a gym. I would have just hung up my singlet and called it a day. So it's days like those and memories like those that are critical moments, and I feel like this is also a critical moment in my life. I could quit and not do this show, and I could never get on stage, but I'm going to do everything in my power, and I'm going to focus on the things that I can control and not what I can't. So I'm determined to get on stage. I'm determined to get stage ready. I want to finish this goal, finish what I started. I think that's important regardless. Again, I think I look great. I think I've made a tremendous transformation, but this is kind of the exclamation point. This is the icing on the cake. And I've come too far not to do this at this point. So I think a lot of other people would quit, but I'm not most people. And this is the kind of the defining moments that really make you, they define you as a person. And I'm choosing to step up. I'm choosing to focus on what I can control. I'm choosing to find a solution. I'm choosing to find a way to get it done. And that is super, super important for me. So I hope this inspires you to keep going if you feel like that you've been dealt a bad hand, or if you've, maybe had some unfortunate circumstance happen to you. We all have things happen to us. We all have curveballs thrown our way, and it's up to us to kind of adjust to whatever life throws at us. It's not always fair. It's not always ideal, but that's life, and you have to find a way to keep moving forward. So I'm just trying to take things one day at a time. I'm trying not to look too far ahead. I'm trying to really dial in my focus, and no matter what happens, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the transformation, but at this point, it's just about finishing. It's about just getting over the finish line, however I can do that. So I really appreciate everyone that supported me through this journey. It's been a 5-year goal in the making, and it's just kind of cool to finally see that light. So I'm just trying to keep telling myself I've gone this far. It's the last leg of the race. It's the last bit, and I just got to take it one step at a time. So the hard part really, truthfully, should be done. But it seems so far away because the date keeps getting pushed back. So I just need to continue to think this is just a blip. This has been a 5-year process. This is the end of the finish line. It's only a few steps away. So I just got to take it a few steps at a time. It's less than 40 days away. So in the grand scheme of things, it is a very small percentage of my life, and it's a very small percentage of the time that I've put into this tremendous goal. So thank you guys. And I'd love to hear from you. Definitely, follow us on Instagram, check out the links in the description to support our program, support our channel, our podcast. And, thank you so much. I hope this inspires you to keep going if you're having a tough time. And if you do need help, please reach out. So I'm excited. Thank you guys for listening. And until next time, stay strong, and I'll see you soon.